So in this series of programming in Java, we are presently going through a topic of exception handling. And in this exception handling topic, what we have covered till this point is we have seen the usage of try, then catch. We also understood that what actually this exception is and how to handle it, and attached the or prominent 5 keywords in that, which are try, catch, finally, throw and throws. And in the previous lectures we have seen try, we have seen catch, we have also completed, and so is throw we have seen, and the usage of finally. Now our today's agenda is to understand actually the difference between throw and throws, the usage of both. We will be looking into where these exceptions are going to kind of get fit in case of the hierarchy, that we will see what is the difference between checked and unchecked exceptions. That is also we are going to cover in this particular lecture. And when we talk about exception handling in Java, it basically exceptions here are divided into two parts. One is the checked exceptions, another one is checked and unchecked exceptions. And these checked exceptions and as well as unchecked exceptions are we can say subclasses of the class exception, which falls under the throwable, and this throwable is nothing but the child class of the object. And here is the hierarchy which is kind of showing this particular thing. So on the topmost level we have the object class, then we have the throwable. Within the throwable we have exceptions and errors. And what is the difference between exceptions and errors, that we have covered in our previous lectures. Coming to the exceptions, from here we have checked exceptions, also we have unchecked exceptions. So checked exceptions are kind of all those compile time exceptions or input output situation, input output exceptions. Unchecked exceptions, so for example any runtime exception or the null pointer exception which we are handling through try catch, all those comes under the category of unchecked exception. And also in our previous class, when we were looking into the usage of throw keyword, we have also seen the examples of unchecked exceptions in that. Now when we talk about the difference between the two, the exceptions which are checked at the compile time are, we can say, are known as checked exceptions. Now if some code within a method is if some code within a method throws a checked exception, then there can arise the two situation. One is the method must either handle the exception or it must specify the exception using the throws keyword. So that means whenever we are going to deal with the checked exceptions, so checked exceptions are, first of all, these checked exceptions are kind of, we can say, tested, or these checked exceptions are taken care at the time of compilation. And if some method, some code within a method is there which is throwing a checked exception, then that method under which the code is throwing the checked exception, that method must either handle the exception or it must specify the exception using the throws keyword. So there can be two situations with this checked exception thing. When we talk about the unchecked exceptions in Java are those which are not checked at the time of compilation. When we talk about C++, so yes, we can say in C++ all the exceptions are unchecked. So it is not forced by the compilers to either handle or specify the exception. While we have in Java, we have checked exceptions as well as unchecked exceptions, while in C++ all the exceptions are unchecked. And in case of unchecked exceptions, it is the responsibility or we can say it is up to the programmer to specify those exceptions or to catch those exceptions. And when we talk about exceptions in details, apart from as far as the categorization is concerned, so exceptions under error and the runtime exception classes are unchecked exceptions, everything else under throwable is checked. So, within this throwable, as we have seen in the hierarchical or the differentiation diagram, within the throwable we have checked exceptions, we also have the unchecked exceptions, and the unchecked exceptions under error and the runtime exceptions are unchecked, while everything else which is left under throwable will be capped into the category or capped into the bucket of checked exceptions. Now, in our previous lecture we have seen how to deal with unchecked exception, and that we did with the help of the keyword throw. And today on the contrary, we are going to deal with the checked exception, and we will be looking into how to throw a checked exception, or we can say how to handle a checked exception. So, every subclass of error and runtime exception is an unchecked exception in Java, as I have just told you. And now, in order to see that how are we going to handle that checked exception, let us see that with the help of a program. And now the program is kind of, we can say, the related to the previous lecture, where we were kind of checking that the person is eligible to vote or not. And here we have within our within a class we have imported a java.io.star, and then within the class we have one function whose name is the method, and that method, now please look into the signature. The method says public static void method throws file not found exception, and within this method we have created an we can say variable of file reader, in which the path of one particular abc.txt has been assigned, or that particular file simply we can say we have made an object pointer which is pointing towards a file abc.txt, and with the help of buffered reader file input here is again is a variable, we have taken a new buffered reader to that particular variable or that particular object, we can say, which is file, and the next sentence which is written says throw new file not found exception. So, here basically what we have done, just few slides before I have told you that in that situation, in case of a checked exception, either the method has to kind of handle it, or you need to specify with the help of the keyword. So, here we have written public static void method throws file not found exception. That means we are aware, or the programmer is actually aware, that this method is going to, or this method may throw the exception of file not found. Now, as because of this kind of awareness, it is necessary for the method itself to handle it, or we can specify a try catch mechanism for this. So, here the exception is being handled with the help of the keyword throw. So, in case any exception is going to arrive, that will be taken care by the throw keyword, and the throw is going to we can say throw a file not found exception here, and that is attained with the help of the last line of this particular method. So, in this way we can use throws and throw. Then in order to write the driver code, we can say, for this we have written a main method, which is there is no need to put this main method into another class. The method in this this main method will be in the same class, and here we have kind of tried that code or tried that function named as method inside a try block, and we have also handled it with the catch file not found exception E, where E is you understand by this time, and we have kind of we can say called a particular method of this E object, where it says E dot print stack trace, and then system dot out dot println rest of the code. Now what is going to happen here? So whenever this file not found exception is going to be raised by this particular function which is named as method. So first of all, when execution starts from the main method within the try, it is having it is calling the function method. Now then when method is being called, this method is specified with the help of the keyword throws. So that means it's a checked exception. Then in case if this method is kind of throwing an exception, that is going to take care, that will be taken care with the help of throw new file not found exception. And we have also placed one catch here, and after this catch, because the exception is being handled properly, we have system.out.println rest of the code, and whenever we are going to we can say run this thing, this is going to give us the output where the exception is being kind of we can say handled, and then rest of the code is the line which is which is giving a proper normal termination to the program. So in this way we can handle or we can kind of mitigate the risk of these checked exceptions. Then apart from this checked and unchecked exceptions, one thing which is also kind of we can say inevitable there is user defined exceptions. So one user must one user may define its own exception depending upon the scenario which is being kind of we can say which may arise in its own in his or her own application. So everything, as I have told you, exception is everything else under the throwable class except the two categories. So here we will be looking into a program which is going to call which is going to throw a particular user defined exception. So here is this the program. Here we have written a class which represents user defined exception, and the name of the class is given as user defined exception. That extends the exception, which is the kind of we can say the parent class for all exceptions, and within that we have given a method, or we can say more specifically that method is a constructor here. So public user defined exception, and then we have passed one parameter here. Now please notice the we can see use of the keyword super, and please recall this super keyword is actually used to refer to the parent class. So here when we are using the keyword super, that means we are calling the constructor of the parent exception, and within the super we have passed that message str, which is the argument or which is the variable of this particular constructor. So we can say taken through this particular constructor of this class, this str message is being passed to the parent class constructor through the use of super. And the use of super we have also we can say we have covered kind of in detail when we were talking about the inheritance thing. Or in continuation in this program, here we have just defined one particular constructor, and within that constructor we have called the constructor of the parent exception class, and within the main method, in order to see or in order to write the driver code, we are actually deliberately throwing a new user defined exception with the help of the throw keyword. So throw basically is kind of throwing an object of user defined exception. So we have written throw new user defined exception, and within this, when the object will be created, obviously the constructor will be called, and within that constructor this string which is this is user defined exception will be kind of assigned to str and assigned to str, and through that particular usage of super, the parent class exception is being we can say called, because we have used super there. And then apart from just after the try, we have we have tried to write the proper messages within the catch. So catch is actually code which is catching this exception, or which is handling this exception, which is user defined exception UDE. And within that we have printed two messages. One is caught the exception, and another one is something which is from the object. And we are going to in order to print that particular string, we have written system.out.println UDE, which is the name of the variable, or we can say which is the name of the object of the class, dot get message. So get message here is a we can say is a standard method, or it is a standard function which is attached with the exception exception class, we can say. So here this is we are going to get the output as caught the exception, and then this is user defined exception. So this will be the output when we are going to run this particular program. And how this output is going to be generated, that is starting from the main method. When throw new user defined exception, the line, or the statement is going to be executed, a new user defined exception is being thrown, and we have a particular message for that particular exception thrown. In order to catch that, we have written caught the exception. So method is being the exception is being raised by the code written inside the try. We have caught the exception is the message which is being written inside the catch, and inside the catch we have also trying to extract the message which is attached with this UDE object. So this is that was the line, or that was the user defined statement which was provided as an argument, and this is user defined exception. So these two statements are we can say getting printed. So here we have seen that how to use this keyword throw in case of ordered exceptions, as well as checked exceptions, as well as unchecked exceptions. Now in the previous lecture I have told you that whenever there are let us say a nested try is there, or multiple exceptions are there. Now how these exceptions are propagated, or how these exceptions are being handled. So the key here, the key lies here within the usage of the data structure stack. Uh, the usage of a stack shows that how these exceptions are actually propagated. So an exception, when it is first thrown from the top of the stack, if it is not caught within that particular method, it drops down the call stack to the previous method. Again, if it is caught there, fine. If not caught there, again it is going to drop down to the the previous method until it is being caused or caught, or they are going to reach the very bottom of the call stack. So here is a figure which is going to kind of help you in explaining what I am trying to teach here, that the exceptions can be handled in any method in the call stack. So here we have a call stack in which we have a main method, then we have a method P, then we have a method N, and then we have a method M. So if the exception is going to be occurred inside the method M, if it is handled there, well and good. If it is not handled, it will be kind of passed on to the N method. If N method is actually able to handle this, fine. Otherwise, it will pass on to the next under level at P, or it can ultimately go to the method M. So exceptions can be handled in any method in this call stack. It could be either the main method, or the P, or the N, or the M method. And here is the way in which the call stack is actually going to be we can say formed. So in order to understand this whole scenario, let us try to see this with the help of a program. So here we have a program to in order to explain the propagation of the exception things. So we have a class in which class we have a method m, and this method m is actually having a code which is named which is written as integer data is equals to 50 divided by 0. So obviously a divide by 0 exception will be raised here. Now this method m as of now this method m is not having any kind of mechanism to handle this. Now, but what is being done with this method m, that this method m is actually kind of we can say called inside the method n. Now fortunately or unfortunately n is not n method is also not having any code for handling this exception. Again this method n is being called inside a method p, but the particular thing here is now the call to the n is made under this try uh, uh, under this try block or within this try block. So in the function p we have a try block, and within that try block this n method is being called, n is calling m, and m is in turn kind of we can say throwing or generating the exception. And then obviously after the try we have written a catch exception in which we have written the exception has kind of handled. And in the driver code, what are we doing here? In the driver code we have written a main method, we have created an object of this particular class, and within the help of that particular object which is named as obj we have called p. So in this execution what will happen? In this execution the method p will be called. Within the method p we have a try block, and within that try block we have the method n. In order to execute the n completely, m will be called. In order to execute the method m, an exception will be raised. M is not able to handle the exception, neither the n is. So p will be kind of we can say handling the exception, and p actually is being called within the main method. So finally as a kind of as an output what are we going to get is exception has handled the statement, and the statement which says normal flow. These two statements we are going to have there, because exception here is occurring in the m method where it is not handled. So it is propagated to the previous method n which is available on the call stack. Unfortunately n is also not having any mechanism to handle the to handle this exception. Again this method is propagated to the method p where this exception is handled, because within the p we have a try block and a catch block. So now again looking into this call stack figure will give us a pretty clear idea about what I was talking about. M exception is being raised, propagated to n, not handled here, again propagated to p, again not sorry, then within the p it is being handled. And even if the situation arises as p is not able to handle that, then obviously kind of main method is going to we can say handle that. So exception can be handled in any of the method within the call stack. It could be a main method or it could be any of the method which is being called by one another. So looking into summing up this particular lecture, we have seen how to throw checked exceptions with the help of the keywords that we have seen, and after that we have looked into a program in order to understand the whole propagation mechanism of these exceptions. And here is a list of references which is being used for the preparation of lecture. I hope you have enjoyed this. I will see you in the next lecture. Till then, take care. Goodbye.